While watching TV one day, Chibiko suddenly noticed that his head felt just a little bit heavier than normal. He was worried for a moment, but then he looked up. He was wearing a tall, pointy hat. Wait, was he at a birthday party? Whose birthday was it? And why was it in his own house? "Happy birthday!" a voice said, and Danny came into the room holding a wrapped box over his head. "I've got a newer present." Chibiko looked around. There was nobody else in his living room. Was it his birthday? Had he somehow forgotten? "Thank you," he said as Danny gave him the present. "Go on, open it," Danny said. Chibiko did as he was told. Inside was a hamster. It was very cute. Chibiko patted it, put it down, and turned to thank his friend again. "Happy birthday!" Danny said. He was holding another present. "Another present?" Chibiko asked. "That's a lot. Thank you very much." "Of course," Danny said, and then passed the box to Chibiko. Chibiko opened his second present. It was a cat. "Wow, 2 pets," Chibiko thought to himself. "Happy birthday!" Danny was holding another box. "Are you sure this is okay?" Chibiko asked. "Open it!" Danny said excitedly. Chibiko opened his third present. It was a monkey. Chibiko started to speak. "Happy birthday!" Danny was holding yet another box. Chibiko held this new present nervously. "Open it! Open it!" Chibiko opened his fourth present. It was a panda. "Are you sure?" Chibiko began to ask. "Happy birthday!" Danny was holding another present. Chibiko was starting to feel a bit confused, maybe even dizzy. "Open it! This one's really special!" Chibiko opened his fifth present. It was a giraffe. "Where can I keep a giraffe?" Chibiko began to wonder, while also worrying that it might eat all of the food in the fridge. He was pretty sure that giraffes mostly ate leaves, but if one was living in his house, would it also start eating things that he liked to eat himself? And then might it eat things like balls, or towels, or chairs, or tables, or TVs? His house would be empty! What a nightmare! A nightmare. Chibiko opened his eyes. He had been dreaming and was safely in his bed. It wasn't his birthday, but for this time at least, he was quite happy that it wasn't. One morning, when Chibiko woke up, he felt different. He wasn't sure how he felt different, and so he got up and then... Ouch! His bottom really hurt. He went to his bathroom to look in the mirror. It was very red and sore. Did it feel different to touch? He closed his eyes, reached his arm behind himself, and... Ouch! It hurt a lot. He took a cool shower, because hot water also hurt his bottom, and then went into the kitchen where his friend, Danny, was waiting for him. He had stayed the night on Chibiko's sofa and had decided to make them both pancakes for breakfast. "Good morning," Danny said cheerfully. "I made pancakes." "Morning," Chibiko replied with a grumpy voice. "What's up?" Danny asked as he moved their pancakes to the table. "Is something wrong?" "It's a bit embarrassing, but my bottom hurts," Chibiko replied. "Oh," Danny said. "My head was hurting earlier, but it's better now. Have you seen a doctor yet?" Chibiko shivered. He didn't like going to see the doctor. "Actually, maybe it's not that bad," Chibiko said as he sat down to eat his pancakes. "Ouch!" Sitting down hurt a lot. He tried again. "Ouch!" "Are you sure you're okay?" Danny asked. "Of course I am," Chibiko said. "I'll just eat my pancakes over here." Chibiko took his pancakes away from the table and tried to eat them standing up. They fell onto the floor. Plop. Danny looked at Chibiko, looked down at the pancakes, and then looked back up at his friend. "Okay," Chibiko grumbled. "I'll go and see a doctor." Danny went with Chibiko to his local doctor. Inside, Chibiko stood up and read an old issue of Ice Cream Monthly until it was his turn to see the doctor. "I see what the problem is," the doctor said. "It looks like you sat on something triangular. It must have started to hurt during the night. That happens sometimes." "Will I be okay?" Chibiko asked. "Of course," the doctor said. "Just let me pat you up and get you a lollipop. No allergies, I take it? And you'll be right as rain soon enough. It may take a little bit of time to stop hurting completely, but there, that's done. I think you should start feeling better very soon." Chibiko did feel better, especially since the doctor had given him some spare lollipops, which he and Danny ate while watching movies later that day. One day, Chibiko was enjoying a glass of orange juice. It was fresh and delicious, but as he was getting to the bottom of his glass, something strange happened. What was that? It felt like the inside of his body had tried to jump up without his permission. It happened again. Chibiko's body jumped again, and it also made a strange sound. Why was this happening? He wasn't trying to make any sound. Chibiko closed his eyes and focused on being very still and very, very quiet. He started to count backwards from 10 inside his head. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Chibiko was starting to get worried. He had never lost control of his body like this before. He decided to call Danny and ask about what he should do. "Hello," Danny said after the phone had rung a couple of times. "Hi, Danny," Chibiko said. then he paused. "Is everything okay?" Danny asked. "No," Chibiko answered. "Something strange is happening to my body, and I don't know what I should do." "Oh," Danny said. "Do you think it's serious?" "I'm scared that maybe it's very serious," Chibiko said. And then he said, "Was that a hiccup?" Danny asked. "Is that what you call it? Should I be worried?" Chibiko said. "Not at all," Danny said. "Hiccups are very annoying, but I don't think they're usually dangerous. I'll come to your place and see if I can help you fix them." "Thank you," Chibiko said, and then hung up his phone. Chibiko hiccuped 22 more times before his doorbell finally rang. "Come in," Chibiko said, and went to open his door. Chibiko opened his front door and... "Ah!" Chibiko screamed. Danny took off his mask. "I guess that didn't work," he said. "My father once told me that the best way to cure the hiccups is a good scare." Maybe he was wrong. "Do you have any other ideas?" Chibiko asked. "I'm getting desperate." "Don't worry," Danny beamed. "I've brought a short list with me." "Gee, I hope that at least one of these works," Chibiko said. It was getting dark, and Chibiko was getting desperate. He and Danny had tried the entire list, and nothing had seemed to work. Would he be stuck with his hiccups forever? "I don't understand," Danny said. "There are so many cures. Why won't any of them work?" "Maybe there are so many because none of them work, and so people keep on trying new ones," Chibiko suggested. "I really thought that making you eat that chili pepper would help," Danny said. "But I think it just made the problem worse. Let's see if there's anything else on the list." "Hey, Danny," Chibiko said. "Oh, there is maybe one more thing we could try," Danny said excitedly. "Danny!" Chibiko said again. Danny looked up from his list. Chibiko seemed suddenly happy. "The hiccups have stopped!" Chibiko beamed. It was true. Chibiko hadn't hiccuped a single time while he and his friend had been talking. "I guess that the secret is that it just takes time," Chibiko said. "Was that the last thing that your list said?" Danny looked back at his list. "No," he said matter-of-factly. "It says here that I should give you a pillowcase to use like a parachute and then push you from a tree. Can we try that next time?" "I'd, rather not," Chibiko replied. He hadn't enjoyed having the hiccups, but he had learned a lot during the day, and it had been fun experimenting with his friend. He was glad, though, that he didn't have to get pushed out of any trees. Chibiko was sitting in his kitchen, nursing a mug of coffee. It had gotten cold, because he didn't usually drink coffee because it was very bitter, and it was taking him a long time to drink it. He was very tired. Danny wandered into the room. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Huh? Oh, Danny," Chibiko said. "How did you get in?" "The door was wide open," Danny answered. "Oh," Chibiko said. "I don't think I've been able to sleep for 2 nights now. I'm trying to drink this coffee to help my brain stay awake since it's daytime now." "I don't think the coffee can do that," Danny said. "I think that it just stops your body from falling to sleep. And sleep is what you need." "But I can't sleep," Chibiko said. "I may have a cure for that," Danny beamed. "Follow me." And so, Chibiko followed Danny out of his house, almost forgot to shut his door, and then they rode the bus to the bookshop. It had been a long time since they had been to the bookshop. Chibiko looked around in amazement. There really were a lot of books. It also looked like they sold coffee and other drinks. Ooh, they had caramel with chocolate sauce. "Snap out of it!" Danny said. He had already found what he was looking for and was holding a book. Chibiko picked it up and looked at it. It was called The Excellent Adventures of Amazing Danny. "I recommend this one," Danny said. Chibiko didn't know that Danny was in a book. He was very surprised, but he was too sleepy to show it. He was also having trouble finding words. "Okay," he managed to say. "Let's get this one." They bought the book together and then went back home. After they arrived, Danny returned to his treehouse and Chibiko took the book up to his bedroom. The sun was already starting to set as he opened the picture book. Somehow, Danny looked a bit taller in the book than he did in the real world. Chibiko turned the page. He wondered what kind of brave adventures his friend would have. The story started with Danny watching TV. Then it showed him eating breakfast. On the next page, he was playing video games. Chibiko wanted to know what game Danny was playing, but the book didn't say. After this, Danny was reading a comic book. Then, he was going for a walk, buying some milk, laying down in the grass and looking at some clouds. The book wasn't at all what Chibiko had been imagining. He was expecting a story of a hero and maybe dragons or magic or even a car chase. Maybe the next page would be different? Chibiko went to turn the page. He never finished turning. He was fast asleep. Danny might need some help with making his stories a bit more exciting, but at least this one had done exactly what Chibiko had needed it to.